other jewelers only dream of. By overseeing the entire process, we know for a fact Diamonds Direct is truly direct. So this year, as value becomes more important than ever, rest assured that Diamonds Direct's unique status in the world diamond market guarantees you the best no middleman direct importer price, period. And even with this extreme value promise, at Diamonds Direct you still get an unbeatable selection, transparent education, a luxurious shopping experience, superior customer service, no compromises. It's not having a cool name or clever advertising, it's the truth. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Don't miss the lowest prices on new RVs at the RV Outlet Show in Monroe. It's happening at the First Merchants Bank Expo Center, January 13th through the 15th. Don't miss all the top RV brands at factory direct pricing, plus free admission and $5 parking. Visit RVOutletShow.com/Monroe for savings. Only at the RV Outlet Show at the First Merchants Bank Expo Center, January 13th through the 15th.
The Progressive Detroit Boat Show is back.
So many boats and brands under one roof.
Electronics, engines,
Accessories and gear.
January 14th to the 22nd, night place. DetroitBoatShow.net. Closed Tuesday and Wednesday.
Breaking news on 97.1 The Ticket is presented by BetQL. Smarter bets start with BetQL. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. Text the ticket using the same number you used to call the ticket. Ticket text 248-539-9797. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jansen.
Brad Holmes at 9:02, talking NBA with the high scoring. Some people think it's lack of defense. Some people just think it's style. A lot of three-pointers. And you like it or not. If you want to go see guys put balls in the hoop, this is the sport.
Yep.
As opposed to college basketball, which you look at who are the great players in college basketball. Not that many of them. You know?
Tony, let me bring this up. But
Yes.
I did the research on it because we were talking about NBA and how much college experience some of the best NBA players have. Top 10 scorers in NBA have a total of 9 years of collegiate experience.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell had 2, Morant had 2, Young 1, Durant 1, Tatum 1, Embiid 1, and it's Gilgeous
Alexander.
and Alexander
Yeah.
1.
Now, in fairness, some of the Europeans play in professional leagues when they were, 17 and 18 years old, too.
Well, that's Luka and Giannis
Yes.
who have 0, and then LeBron's the other 0.
Right. LeBron's
It's
unbelievable.
still, he's the 8th.
He's unbelievable, and you can say what you want about him personally, but
John Love.
what he's doing, and it is
I
for another
like
day.
you said he's the other 0.
Okay. Okay, granted, he doesn't have the ability, he doesn't have
0.
He's Brady-esque, man.
Oh, there's no question.
I mean, at his age, doing what he's doing in that sport,
It's tremendous.
it's unbelievable. Alan, you're 97 on the ticket.
Guys, the NBA needs to expand, which they're talking about. They haven't expanded in almost 20 years, and that is why the scoring is up, because actually there is a lot of talent in the NBA.
Yes.
And the good players are playing longer, and the European players are coming in, and they're very skilled, and you need more teams to water down the games and spread out the talent even further to accomplish that.
See, I disagree with that. I don't think you don't want to water them down. Yeah, I agree.
you want to have more great players
there will
on
be
the team.
expansion. Seattle and Vegas will probably be added.
Have $4 billion teams, and they are doing it. They're looking at cities.
Yeah, I know, Seattle and Vegas,
looking
but
at Mexico City.
yes, but they're doing that for money, not for the betterment of the game. To me, less is more. Less teams means more teams in any sport have better players, more better players on a team.
More depth of talent.
Yes.
I agree with his premise, though, that there's more talent than ever.
There is.
It's like I was looking 42
And they're
guys.
playing longer. The good players are playing longer
That's
for a lot
true.
of reasons, health and
Money.
medicine and human growth hormone and whatnot. But that has to factor into why the scoring's up. Is because the talent's up, and every team about this at this point usually has 3 good players. At least half of the teams have 3 really good players.
Except the Pistons.
The other thing, too, is factor into this. Well, number one, what he said, they're playing longer because they're playing older. They're also starting younger than ever.
Right.
Well, based on what I just said there. How about this? Is load management contributing to this?
some of it, but how many guys are really getting load management besides Kawhi Leonard? I mean, there's not as much as we think. There's some players that get a lot.
There's not a ton,
Well,
but there's spots.
There's spots. You know, and most
There's spots, and a lot of those spots will be increased as the season goes on.
True. I mean, as teams want to tank too.
Right, teams want to tank, but they're also looking at making a run, and they, you know, for the last 2 years, we've talked about how much has attrition affected who's playing in the finals, who wins it, and, you know, that's always the conversation that comes up that time of year.
Look, you know, taking our championship and the run that the Pistons had, most recent one aside, because we loved it here because that's the way they played, but it was really for a lot of times ugly basketball.
Yeah.
This is definitely much more appealing. I think, you know, going back, you know, 90s and that, it was probably better basketball because they did play defense, but they did score. People always talk about, you know, the bad boys, you know, defense, they ruined the game. They scored over 100 points all the time. I mean, they had great offensive players.
That was more just the style of basketball and the physicality of it. It's not nearly as physical as it used to be.
No. That's why
the PE bottle.
Yeah, college big men. You know, no matter what you think of Hunter Dickinson as a human being, that's why he won't be anything in the NBA because they don't play that way anymore.
The game doesn't translate.
Yeah, Antoine in Detroit, you're 97.
Gentlemen, good morning. Real quick, so this was a barbershop topic the other day, man. It's funny you brought it up. And it's just a perfect storm for college basketball. I mean, specifically for the younger fan. Like, if you're the younger fan and you watch Golden State go out and play a game where it's 142 to 138, and Steph has 40 and Devin Booker has 38, and then you turn on Michigan versus Wisconsin and it's 55-49, it's just not a brand of basketball that you want. The lack of stars, the G League, the transfer portal, like at least you could, like we're lucky to have a Hunter Dickinson type of player for 3 years. And like, it sounds funny, like you're lucky to have Hunter Dickinson. Yeah, because generally a lot of these guys play 1 year, 2 years, they transfer to another team. So as a fan of an individual team, I can't even grasp on to that guy for 3 or 4 years anymore. It is a perfect storm for college basketball to fail, to be unattractive. And I think the caller before me point was great. And I never thought about that for real. Like, there is an extreme amount of talent in the NBA. You didn't mention Devin Booker, who probably wasn't in the top 10 in scoring because he didn't qualify because he's hurt.
Both your ring and Papa Wayne's ring are twins.
It's so much wealth of talent in the NBA.
You know what's so funny, Antoine? Devin Booker didn't even start at Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he came off the bench. That's my point. Yes, exactly. So the wealth of talent in the NBA is great. So the expansion, it works for money for sure, obviously, and does great in those markets, Seattle and Vegas, that you're speaking of. However, they're doing it, or they can do it, with no issue because of the wealth of talent in the NBA. That's great.
It's a great point.
That's why I said I think college hoops, I believe the tournament has seen its better day. And, okay, yeah, it will never be like it used to be. But I don't know if it's ever going to be in trouble. I think a little bit of a case can be made that it's a little bit of a bubble right now, that it's still living off its past. And in the tournament, I think the thing saving it's the bracket.
Yes.
Oh, there's no question it's the bracket. That's what everybody is. People that aren't even fans of college basketball become fans for at least a weekend.
Right. When
it's the field of 64 and they're filling out their bracket, and then all of a sudden, hey, their bracket's busted and, you know, they don't watch the rest of the tournament. But that's clearly what I think is a major attraction for the tournament.
And there's heavy talk around the league that they're going to waive you have to play, you know, you're going to be able to come into the league without playing a year in college basketball.
Yeah, they're going to waive the one and done rule.
It's going to be, guys are going to be coming in from high school.
I'm not trying to be too geeky here or inside, but from a programming perspective of having a tournament in CBS, I wouldn't argue against bailing on that the investment is no longer worth what you're getting.
I have no idea what the ratings are. I mean, live television, live sporting events are still watched more than any other.
But it is one of the heaviest
cost of getting into it, and you're seeing that now with Amazon getting into it, with Netflix trying to get in on the game. Now we see, you know, Google is doing it with the Sunday Ticket. Like, they're paying astronomical amounts of money and they're not necessarily seeing the return on that.
And just super quick, maybe they need to reconsider how they present.
Yeah, well, for the tournament, it's on. You never know. We're on True TV, we're on TBS, we're on TNT, we're on CBS. We do know Brad Holmes will join us coming up next. 97.1 The Ticket.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Sports headlines. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by CGC Water Treatment. Pistons coach Dwayne Casey got exactly what he was looking for last night downtown after their worst loss of the year in Philly. Perhaps their most complete victory of the season in front of their home crowd at Little Caesars Arena. A 135-118 victory featuring 60% shooting, 31 points by Sadiq Bey, all while still having only one true big due to injuries. Here's Coach.
Making you have to
face
go.
adversity, and that was what I was looking to see tonight.
Now I'm going to have to
gonna
shake.
Respond, because in this league, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the way you want it to be, but if you face adversity head on, the way our guys did tonight, good things are going to happen down the road.
Detroit has now swept the Timberwolves and will get ready to face the Pelicans on Friday night at the LCA. Meanwhile, the Red Wings practiced, hoping the team morale would be boosted after that 7-5 win over the Jets this week. Derek Malone says that Billy Huso will again start in the net for tonight's game versus Toronto, a team they haven't beaten since February of 2019. And Michigan pass rusher Mozzie Smith will have his sentencing this afternoon after it was pushed back from last month. He pled guilty to a misdemeanor after being charged with a weapons possession without a concealed permit. Smith has already